Happy Sunday morning, everyone. It's beautiful out. Welcome to Missions Moments. You know, in the Nazarene Church, each month we try to highlight a specific area of missions or a focus that applies to our missions work and the work of the church. And some of those topics are bright and happy, and others aren't so much, but they're very much important. This month, we have a couple of things that I wanted to just highlight so that you could be aware of it and you could be in prayer about it. And you could ask God, how can I help with this? And the first one is it is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, which is extremely important. And I'm not going to get much into that. Our Vice President, Kelley, that is something that's very passionate on her heart. She volunteers and serves the Rape Crisis Hotline here in Maine. And I'm going to ask her to participate and help me out with that topic next week. One of the other topics I wanted to bring up is Child Abuse Month. And so the focus this month, National Child Abuse Month, is how do we prevent it? How are we aware of it? How does it start? What causes these things to take place? And what can we do about it? And, you know, this is particularly important right now because we have an environment where, you know, if you have a short temper or you have kids that are wild and crazy and are kind of driving you crazy sometimes, which all kids do, some of us more than others. Hi, Mom. How are you? I love you. But anyway, you know, all of these certain things, all of these stresses that we're going through right now with COVID, people are stressing about their finances. People are stressing about their, you know, getting their bills paid. People are stressing about the unknowns, the uncertainty, the fear of this virus and what this can mean to our families. What about our jobs? What about the future in the economy? What about all these things? And then on top of that, we're stuck in our homes with everyone right in each other's faces. And, you know, there can be a recipe for abuse, whether we thought we could or not. And so, but the good news is there's a lot of resources available. And certainly one of the best resources is the National Parent Helpline. NationalParentHelpline.org has an enormous amount of resources on it, different ideas and things you can do with your kids, different ways of dealing with stress, different ways of coping, and also just identifying if you do have the potential or you have a problem and you're needing help. The most important part of this is that there's a helpline. You can call and talk to someone and get the help you need. Get help before you end up doing something that you'll regret and certainly would be inexcusable and land you in jail, rightfully so. Also, for the rest of us, how do we support our families? How do we support our relatives, our friends that do have young ones that might be in situations where there's a potential for this? How do we help them out? How do we show our support and our encouragement and our love? Certainly prayer is number one. We need to pray for all of our families, and particularly families with younger children and such that are dealing with all of these unknowns. Just ask the Lord to just put his hand and bless these families, give them comfort, give them strength and encourage them, and let them see God throughout this situation. For those who choose to do the wrong, and we're aware of it, as Christians, we have a duty. As humans, we have a duty and an obligation to report it. And so if you know someone that is being abused or someone who's at a threat of being abused, you need to report that to the authorities, and then you can continue to pray for them because ultimately everyone's going to get help. Okay, so this is just an important subject. It's kind of a sobering subject, but here's the good news. April is full of a lot of other types of national days that of awareness that are more positive. And I'm going to grab this list right here because I want to read these off for you. And so first off, April 2nd was National Peanut Butter and Jelly Sandwich Month, Day. And Well, who doesn't like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, for crying out loud? And some of us maybe peanut butter and fluff. And yes, Pastor, I know it needs to be chilled for 10, 15 minutes in the fridge before you eat it. So I haven't forgotten that. It's also National Burrito Month. So those of you who love Latin American food and you like burritos, April 2nd is your day. April 4th was National Hug a Person Day, which is awesome, but you better be hugging them from afar. So remember that one for next year. April 10th was National Hug Your Dog Day. So if you couldn't hug a person, hey, hug your dog. So that's the way that works. National Grilled Cheese Day, April 12th. April 16th, National Wear Your Pajamas to Work Day. Wait, I thought that was every day right now. Well, anyway, that was April 16th. And let me flip this page and I'll continue on. April 22nd is Earth Day, an important day. God gave us this planet. We are to be stewards to this earth. And so get outside, enjoy the sunshine, appreciate the beauty that God has given us. Pick up a little bit of trash if you can. Plant a tree or a plant and such. Do something positive for the earth that day, okay? You'll be doing something positive for yourself. April 24th, National Pigs in a Blanket Day. Hey, who can forget April 24th, National Pigs in a Blanket Day? It's coming, boys and girls. Let's get our ingredients ready. April 28th is National Superhero Day. I know a lot of superheroes in my life, and I bet you do too. Kids, I bet your parents right now are superheroes. You better let them know that too. April 30th, National Raisin Day. Hey, National Raisin Day. Wow, what a month. What a positive month. That's awesome. So enough of that. The next thing I want to talk to you about is I just want to give you a summary of what has happened in the last 30 days regarding our church's effort to help and support the homeless in Bangor. Now, remember, these are homeless folks, but many of them are homeless because of the COVID outbreak. Their normal resources and their normal ways of sheltering and getting food and getting medical care and getting all these things done has been turned upside down. And initially the effort to try to get them shelter was it was slow. Everyone, to give the city of Bangor credit, they're getting a lot of people from all over the place coming into Bangor because it is a center point of resources. 2, you can't leave because you can't travel is limited. And 3, the shelters are limiting to just enough people to meet the CDC guidelines. So a lot of people out on the street, and so we've been going down and supporting a couple of these tent encampments where we have been focusing specifically as a church on sheltering. So tents, tarps, sleeping bags, blankets, ground cloths, rain gear, warm clothes, boots, socks, those kinds of things. And I want to just say how much I appreciate the support has been phenomenal. And I just thank God and I thank you for all of your support in this. The next blessing, and this is a God thing, because the city and other agencies have been working together. I mean, I'm seeing all these folks working together, and it's just an amazing thing. And I was down at the encampment when the night of the rainstorm, and I took ropes down, and I wanted to help tarp down, being the scout that I am. I wanted to go and make sure that these tents and tarps weren't flapping all over the place and such. And I got down there and it was a mess. There were broken tents. They were blown all over the place. People were wet and cold. They were trying to keep a fire going. The rain was coming in sideways. I mean, we were soaking wet in like less than 5 minutes, literally. And we were tarping down and we were tying this down. I thought, I've got hours of work here, and it's too late. Everything is wet already, and it just was a miserable situation. And thank you, Lord. The Hope House, along with PCHCS and a bunch of volunteers, showed up and said, "Hey, we have hotel rooms for everyone," and so I got to help get these folks 26 people did not spend the night in that cold, wet, driving rain, and it was just an absolute blessing. And they got to take their stuff, and then there was another group and a number of volunteers that even volunteered to wash their clothing and sleeping bags and get everything dried, so when they got back to camp to start drying out, they'd have warm, dry clothes and warm, dry place to sleep and such. It was just an amazing thing, and I some of these folks are from churches. Some of these folks just have a heart for serving, and it's funny how God gives us such a heart. Whether we're Christian, whether we know God or not, there's something that's naturally built into us that says, hey, we're human, and I have compassion for my fellow man, and I'm seeing more and more of this all the time, and it's just amazing, and it's encouraging. And I've spent a lot of time talking to some of these folks, and the stories are incredible. Some very heartbreaking, and I'll share some of this later on. But I just want to say how much I appreciate what's going on. The city now has managed in the last 30 days to put 22 of these folks in permanent housing and off the street. And this isn't just hotel rooms, this is permanent. So praise God for that, and more to come. And we're going to keep bringing wood and water, and because that's kind of the focus now. I mean, can you imagine? Here we are, we're in Guatemala talking about water and water filters, and here I am in Bangor, Maine, and these folks are asking, I say, well, what else do you need? And they're like, we really need water. We don't have enough water for cooking, for coffee, for drinking. And so we're starting to collect water and get bigger, 5-gallon jars of water and that sort of thing to get down there. And we're going to continue to collect that and such. We're also going to do some sort of along the line of a crisis care kit, but it's actually it's a personal care kit. And we'll provide some of those. We've got Bibles coming, and Bibles are going to go in those, as well as a letter that talks about, just a testimony of how Christ died for him. We're not going to get over churchy, but it's going to be there for them to take it. And if they want it, then they can take it. And if they don't, they can hand it back. It's no problem. There's no condition here. We just want to show the love of Christ. And people are seeing that we don't want anything. We just want to help. And they appreciate it. They really do. Wow, a lot to talk about. But I guess that's it. I could talk all day, as you all know. And so I'm going to shut up now. And, this day, you've got to get out. It's supposed to hit 55 to 60 degrees today. So as Bono would say, it's a beautiful day. Don't let it get away. So don't. God bless you all, and we'll see you next week.